Okay, so when you're ready to start painting, we'll sort of end up with something that looks like this. When you're ready to start painting, you're going to want to make sure you have all of the supplies you need. So you're going to want a bucket of water for your table, an assortment of paintbrushes, a nice wad of paper towels so that you can dry your brushes. You are going to want some salt, and I have two different types of salt. I have the sea salt, which is a little bit more coarse, and also the regular table salt, so you'll want that as well, because you can get some pretty cool effects on the watercolor with that stuff. And then I have these sets here of liquid watercolors, okay? The colors are labeled in the front. The last one is black, which I use that for the background of mine to create that contrast of sort of like the lighter colored skull against a darker background. Use what you guys know about color theory to come up with a plan for your design. So I'm going to start with the background. You're going to want to work kind of fast. Don't be afraid to put a lot of water down first. And also you want to get a palette, okay? And now in real life you would never want to put your palette on your painting. So I'm going to try and scooch this over a little bit, okay? So what you should do is pick up some water, because you don't really want to use your watercolors straight out of the little buckets here because they're pretty concentrated colors. I'm going to start with black, and I'm just going to pick up some black with my clean brush and drop it into that puddle I made of water, okay? And then at this point, if I wanted to pick up another color, I would want to make sure I clean my brush off really well, because you don't want to put black into any other colors. It'll contaminate them and ruin someone else's day today, okay? So this is slightly watered down. It's watercolor, so don't be afraid to use water. So I'll wash my brush. I'm going to dry it on my paper towels. Okay, and then I'm going to pick up, I love this magenta color. I'm going to pick up some of that as well. Okay. And I'm going to add a little touch of water. Okay. And then rinse my brush again. And I'm going to pick up some purple. Before you do this, you also want to make sure your palettes are clean. You don't want anything from previous projects contaminating your artwork. And I'm actually going to pick up a little touch of red and mix it in with my black. Okay, cool. Okay, so when you have a couple colors that you're ready to start with, go for it. Okay, what you can do is actually pick up some water and kind of get your paper wet first. It helps the colors go on a little bit smoother. I also have spray bottles, so you guys are more than welcome to use those to spray the paper, not each other. Okay, and I'm going to pick up my black. And now you're going to start to see the design that I previously drew come through. And because I added a little bit of red, it's sort of like a dark maroony black color. And it's very light because I'm adding water to it. So I'm watering down the paint. And you could decide that you like it lighter or that you want to make it really dark. Okay, I'm going to pick up some different colors and kind of plop them into different parts of my flower here. And anytime you get a new color, you always want to wash your brush and dry it off. I'm going to pick up some of that purple. Okay. So there's a million things you could do at this point, but the harder you draw with the oil pastel, the more obvious your design will be. So I'm going to keep going. And you can get super, super dark. So if once you sort of have a base coat down of color and it's still wet, if you want to add more pigment straight from the little tubs here, you can do that if you know you want it super dark. Don't be afraid to blend. Don't be afraid to add water. And you can get kind of funky with this. We don't want it to be smooth necessarily. Maybe you do, and that's up to you, but part of the beauty in watercolor is the texture. It is the cool stuff that happens with the color when you sort of blend or splatter paint, okay? If you want to splatter paint, go for it. Just don't splatter anyone at your table. You can even splatter straight water. I'm going to pick up some of this turquoise color and drop that into my leaves. And maybe a little bit of green. And let the colors blend. Let them do their thing with some water. And now you sort of have these lines coming through, right, because of the way we applied the oil pastel. And colors are going to bleed, and maybe you like that, maybe you don't. So if you don't like that, you have to be patient and let layers dry. Okay, so if you're doing wet and wet blending, that's what happens. The colors will bleed together. Pick up some blue. And you can let it get sort of crazy and textured, and pick up some more black. And now, there is a really cool thing you can do with the salt. So while the paint is still wet, sorry, you want to make sure you sort of have two colors down in the same place and add enough water so that it's still shiny, but not a huge puddle. And you can pick up some of the salt and sprinkle it on. And you're going to get a different texture with the sea salt versus the table salt. I'm going to do some table salt in this blue leaf here. And now here you have to be patient. You have to let this dry completely before you go any further. If I were to work on this area some more, things are going to get crazy. So what I might do is decide to move over and start working on another area. So I can blend this in. Pick up some more of that black paint. So again, don't be afraid to use water, okay? And you want to use a variety of colors in the background, and then it's up to you if you want to keep them maybe all warm colors or all cool colors, or try just to get it like a solid black color. You know, it's up to you. But once you have some different colors laid down, you can also wrinkle up saran wrap and apply that to your background, and that'll give it a whole new texture. So I'll show you guys examples of that in class, what that looks like, but it's pretty cool. So once you have your whole background painted, you can let it dry. You can go back and add more watercolor later, or something totally different. You could add in Sharpie, you can add a colored pencil. But I'll show you guys what this looks like tomorrow when it's all done. Maybe I'll do a time lapse of me working on it so you can see the process. All right, but that is pretty much it in a nutshell. So wherever you draw with white oil pastel, it's going to remain white because it's oil. It resists the watercolor paint. As far as doing your background, to mix colors, play. Don't be afraid to use water. Don't be afraid to throw down some sea salt or some saran wrap. You know, and the heavier you color, the larger the areas you'll have that are white. Another thing you can do too, is wrinkle up paper towel. And you can create patterns and texture that way as well, okay? So I'm gonna keep working on this. I'll show it to you tomorrow, but start thinking about some imagery that you wanna include in your sugar skull, and we'll have fun with this. Thanks for watching. So what do you need to complete your watercolor paintings? You need brushes in a variety of sizes. You need the paint, a bucket of water, paper towels, some salt if you wanna try that, and some saran wrap as well. So have fun with it. See you guys later.